Hello everyone. In this video we are going to discuss the standard penetration test, which is a field method for the estimation of bearing capacity. This standard penetration test is the most commonly used in situ test. That means this test is conducted in the field to determine the bearing capacity of soil below the foundation. This test is also useful to determine the value of relative density dr and angle of shearing resistance phi dash. It is also used to determine the unconfined compressive strength of the soil. So in this video we are mainly concerned about the determination of bearing capacity using standard penetration test. So for conducting this standard penetration test, multiple points are selected at interval of 75 mm, and then this test is performed at the base level of the footing. So we can say that we are concerned about the bearing capacity of the soil which is present at the base level of the footing, and we are not concerned about the strength of the soil at the ground level. And for that a borehole is excavated. The depth of the borehole is kept equal to the depth of footing, and the standard penetration test is conducted at the base of this borehole with the help of split spoon sampler. This split spoon sampler is the sampler used for obtaining the disturbed sample of the soil from the field. A standard sampler is consisting of mainly three parts. The first part is driving shoe. It has shape like this. So it is pointed at the bottom so that it can be easily driven into the ground. And it is made up of tool steel and its length is about 75 mm. The next part is the steel tube. It is about 450 mm long tube and it can be split longitudinally into two halves as the name of the sampler suggests. So the total length of this middle part, that is steel tube, is equal to 450 mm. And the third part of this sampler is coupling. It is present at the top and the length of the coupling is about 150 mm. So this coupling holds the two halves of this sampler together. So when the borehole is excavated or drilled, the drilling tools are removed and then the split spoon sampler is lowered at the base of the borehole. So suppose this is a split spoon sampler. Then a drop hammer of weight 63.5 kg is placed on the top of the sampler. So this is hammer and weight of hammer is equal to 63.5 kg. Then this sampler is driven into the soil by giving the blows of this drop hammer. So for that this drop hammer is lifted upward and then it is allowed to fall freely on the top of the sampler, and because of this impact the sampler penetrates the ground. The height of free fall of hammer is kept equal to 750 mm and the numbers of blows are given at the rate of 30 blows per minute. So rate of blows is kept equal to 30 blows per minute as suggested by IS 2131 1963. The number of blows of hammer required for the 150 mm penetration of the sampler are recorded. For example, suppose we require 20 number of blows for the first was 150 mm penetration of the sampler. Then this number of blows are recorded and then the sampler is further driven into the ground. Now again the number of blows required for the further 150 mm penetrations are counted. So suppose the number of blows required for this 150 mm penetration for the second times are equal to say 23. Then this 23 number of blows are recorded. So we can see that for the total of 300 mm penetration we required total 20 plus 23 which is equal to 33 blows. Likewise, the sample is once again further driven by 150 mm and the number of blows recorded. So for this time, suppose the number of blows required are say 25 numbers. So after giving 25 blows, as per our assumption, the sampler is penetrated through 150 mm for the third time. So for the total 450 mm penetration, we require number of blows equal to 20 plus 23 plus 25. The number of blows recorded for the first 150 mm penetration is disregarded and the number of blows recorded for the last two 150 mm intervals are added to give the standard penetration number. So the standard penetration number SPTN is equal to, for this case, 23 plus 25 which is equal to 48. So with the help of this standard penetration number which is denoted as N, we can determine the value of angle of frictional resistance phi dash, and then by using this value of phi dash we can determine the bearing capacity factors NC, NQ and N gamma. So by using these factors we can determine the bearing capacity of the soil. The value of standard penetration number is affected due to presence of pore water pressure, because this pore water pressure acts in upward direction. That's why it raises the downward penetration of the sampler, and because of that the number of blows required for the penetration will be more and it will result in the greater value of standard penetration number. The overburden pressure also affect the value of standard penetration number. So at shallow depth, the value of overburden pressure is low. So that's why at this depth, the confining pressure is also low. So at this, the value of penetration number obtained will be low because we require less number of blows for the penetration. Whereas on the other hand, as the depth of the soil increases, then the confining pressure also increases and the value of standard penetration numbers also increases. So for that's why we apply correction for the dilatancy, means due to effect of pore water pressure, and for the overburden pressure. So first we will see dilatancy correction. The silty fine sands and fine sands below the water table develops pore pressure, pore water pressure, which is not easily dissipated. It will always be there as long as the water table is present, and this pore pressure increases the resistance of the soil. Means this pore water pressure acts in upward direction, as I have said. So this pressure will resist the penetration of the sampler, and hence the value of penetration number will increase. So Tarzaghi and Peck in 1967 recommended the following correction in case of silty fine sands when the observed value of n exceeds 15. Means if penetration number is greater than 15, then only this correction which is given by Tarzaghi and Peck is applicable, and the corrected penetration number is obtained as NC equal to 15 plus half into NR minus 15. So here NR is the recorded value and NC is the corrected value. But if recorded value is less than or equal to 15, then the corrected value is taken as equal to NR or recorded value. So in short, if recorded value is less than or equal to 15, then no correction is applied, and if it is greater than 15, then this equation is used for the correction. Now we will discuss overburden pressure correction. In granular soils, the overburden pressure affects the penetration resistance. If two soils having same relative density but different confining pressures are tested together, then the one with higher confining pressure will give the higher value of penetration number. That means this penetration number depends upon the confining pressure. As the confining pressure in cohesionless soils increases with increase in depth, then the penetration number for the soil it also increases. At shallow depth, the confining pressure is low. That's why the penetration number for shallow depth is underestimated. And at greater depth, the confining pressure is greater. And that's why the penetration number is higher. Hence, at greater depth, the value of n is overestimated. So, different geologists gave different equations for the overburden pressure corrections. So first we will see the corrections given by Gibbs and Halls. So in 1957 they recommended the use of the following equation for the dry, moist, clean sand. So NC equal to NR into 350 divided by sigma naught bar plus 70. So here this NR is the observed or we can say recorded N value. NC is the corrected N value and sigma naught bar is the effective overburden pressure in kilonewton. So this equation is applicable only when the effective overburden pressure sigma naught bar is less than or equal to 280 kilonewton per meter square. If it is greater than 280, then this equation will not be applicable. So here we have obtained the corrected value using the recorded value. Then this ratio NC upon NR should lie between the 0.45 and 2. If this ratio is greater than 2, then the value of NC obtained in this equation should be divided by 2 to obtain the design value used in the bearing capacity of the soil. So this corrected value of NC obtained will not be the final corrected value. We will have to apply the further correction for the dilatancy. So we can say that this correction can be extended to saturated silty sand and fine sand after modifying the NR according to this equation, which is equation for overburden correction. So this corrected value will be subjected for the further correction, which is dilatancy correction. So NC obtained from this equation would be taken as NR in the equation NC equal to 15 plus half into NR minus 15. So here this NR value will be taken from this value, means NR will be equal to corrected reading of the overburden correction, and this is the equation for dilatancy correction. So we can say that the overburden correction is applied first, and then the corrected value obtained is used as recorded value, and dilatancy correction is applied, and then this value of NC obtained will be the final corrected N value. Now the second correction equation was given by Peck, Hansen and Thornburn in 1974, and they also gave chart for the correction of N values of an effective overburden pressure of 96 kilonewton per meter square. So according to them, the corrected value will be equal to 0.77 into NR into log of 1905 divided by sigma naught bar. So this equation was applicable only when sigma naught bar is greater than or equal to 24 kilonewton per meter square. So this is a chart given by Peck, Hansen and Thornburn. So from this chart we can determine the value of N. If we know the value of overburden pressure and value of recorded standard penetration number. Suppose the overburden pressure is say 100, then the corresponding ratio will be suppose 0.95. So this N upon NR will be equal to 0.95. So suppose if we know the value of NR, then we can find the value of N, which is equal to 0.95 into NR. So this way, by using this chart, we can directly obtain the corrected value of standard penetration number. Now the third correction equation was given by Bazara in 1967 and also by Peck and Bazara in 1969. It is also one of the most commonly used correction. So according to them, N is equal to 4 into NR divided by 1 plus 0.0418 sigma naught bar. So this equation will be applicable if the value of sigma naught bar is less than 71.8 kilonewton per meter square. And if value of sigma naught bar is equal to or greater than 71.8, then the corrected value will be taken as recorded value. The angle of shearing resistance phi depends upon the standard penetration number N. So in general, the greater the N value, greater will be the angle of shearing resistance. So here this chart gives the value of angle of shearing resistance with respect to corresponding standard penetration number. So from this chart, once we obtain the corrected N value, we can determine the value of phi dash, and then this phi dash value is used to determine the bearing capacity factors NC, NQ and N gamma, and using these bearing capacity factors we can determine the value of ultimate bearing capacity of the soil. Thank you for watching.